with the Spurs foul. Should Miami go for the three right away? Just attack the basket. James catches, puts up the three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
Howdy everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of The Pickup. Usually it is two Matties. It is myself and Matt Malley. Malley's not going to join us this week. He'll be joining us once the season kicks off, because it's going to be a bit of a brief one, but we're going to get straight to the business. We're going to give you the shit that you need to know for the opening day of the NBA. If you're in America, you're waking up to it. In Australia, it is the day. We are pumped for it. It is the first day of NBA action. Every single week, the Pickup is going to review the games of the day. We're also going to look at scheduling ahead for the rest of the week and the next day. Pickups you might want to make, drops you have to obviously make along the way, and giving you our best insights to including Mally Oop. Yes, Matt Malley has a Mally Oop segment coming because we love a good pun. And we're also going to give you signings or any news that drops as of today. And one of the key things, apart from injuries, that we're going to get to as well, are all the signings that just basically went off today. As the season approaches, teams started exercising all their rights in their signings, and there is an absolute bunch to get to. I guess the biggest money splash today, everyone was looking around at Giannis Antetokounmpo's deal. Look, that puts to rest the will he stay, will he go conjecture from earlier in the season. The Bucks organization was tethered to keeping him there and showed all of that goodwill behind it to get Damian Lillard. And now that Dame's in town, he's happy as Larry. He's going to stay on for another 3 years. There is a player option in there. There's not a team option. So Giannis is able to move. There are some nice little bumps to his contract there as well. So obviously for all the Bucks fans out there who are listening, even if you're not a Bucks fan and you're wondering, shit, thought we were going to get Giannis. Yeah, you're probably not now, unless absolutely everything goes sideways with the Dame situation and it just becomes untenable, similar to the Philly situation. Then maybe, worst case scenario, yeah, he goes somewhere else or he exercises that player option down the back end of that deal. That's probably the biggest major cash signing of the day. A couple of Australian guys we just might touch on really quickly as well. Jack White and Xavier Cooks. They could be back in the NBL. So make sure you follow up the NBL podcast for those guys, because they could be coming back down under. The Suns waived Keon Johnson. Look, he's out for the season. Montrezl Harrell from the Philadelphia 76ers has been waived. Jeremiah Robertson-Earl, all those who had some hopes for JRE, thinking that he might step up as that defensive center if Jock Landau didn't show out in Houston, look, he has been waived by them. Dwayne Washington Jr. has been signed to a two-way contract. Obviously, silly season MVP candidate Dwayne Washington Jr. when he was in Indiana, putting up almost 30 points a game a couple of years ago. Another big one, I think it's one of the most interesting ones, and I've grabbed him in a couple of drafts this year, and you may have been the same as me. Really hoping for the best for the Omelette, who's my adoring nickname for Onyeka Okongwu from the Atlanta Hawks. Look, the writing is on the wall for Clint Capella. As far as I'm concerned, they have signed Onyeka to a rookie scale extension, keeping him there now for the next few years, which tells me that they are backing him. Initially, there seemed to be, before Zach Snyder arrived in town, like, are we going to play him? Are we not going to play him? Are we going to play him? Are we not going to play him? And look, he seems to be like, he's coming off the bench right now. When starting in the preseason, Onyeka was an absolute weapon. Even in his bench role, he was going out there, playing his heart out. He is going to give you an absolute value return on the end of the day, especially if they do move off Clint Capella and he becomes the starter in the Atlanta Hawks. We've been saying it for a while. We were really excited by the prospect of Onyeka Okongwu. Yep, it's that. It could be that season. It's Onyeka season. Let's go the Omelette. Have a crack at that one. Dallas Mavericks have re-signed our Aussie boy Josh Green to a rookie-style extension as well. Another rookie-scale extension. Say that 3 times fast. For the Minnesota Timberwolves and Jaden McDaniels. They've obviously really moved, and they're really high on Jaden McDaniels. Now, he has been an absolute defensive stopper for them. His switchability, it really comes into play. And I know a lot of analysts have been really into him this season. I think Alex Reclean might have been on one of the pods. It was like, look, he likes what McDaniels can do, especially in the later part of drafts. And he is still available in some leagues as well. I'll bring up him as well as some other guys down and who you might want to target for games this week. Cole Anthony has been re-signed for rookie scale extension. Denny Advia in Washington as well. That's some of the big news. Two-way contracts around the place. And those are pretty much the biggest moves of the day. The day prior, obviously, we had guys like Zach Collins. He got his veteran extension. And other guys who have been off in the last 24 hours, including Zeke Naji for his rookie scale extension as well. Now, Zeke Naji is an interesting one because he's going to come into play when we start talking about games for tomorrow. Now, I can tell you right now, there are going to be 2 games to start the NBA season. It's the Lakers and the Nuggets and the Suns and the Warriors, and we're just looking forward to seeing 4 of the best teams in the NBA play it out. Waiver wire ads across the league have reflected some of the major things that are happening across this one, including, I guess, the injury news to Jared Vanderbilt. Now, Jared Vanderbilt is expected to be out until the 27th of October, which means he's going to miss that first game of the NBA season, and he's there in Los Angeles as a defensive stopper. So you could possibly be looking for some more Rui Hachimura minutes, considering that Rui has been coming off the bench for them in the preseason. Taurean Prince has been named the starter there, but this probably opens up the way for Rui. Now, Rui is available in some leagues, and if Rui is available and you just want to start off your week the right way, fly out there right now and look to pick in Rui Hachimura. He is probably going to be available. There we go. He's been picked up in 401 as of this second Yahoo League, so he's starting to go up on the ads train a little bit. He is one of the hottest ads of the week, especially other guys. I guess it's the guys you're trying to add for tomorrow. Guys on the waiver wire for these games tomorrow include Kevin Looney, Jonathan Kuminga. Now, Jonathan Kuminga is only rostered in 48% of leagues. And as Mick Dell likes to call him, the cum bucket, well, that's half of the leagues out there that don't have him. And he has absolutely shown out in the preseason. Look, Draymond Green has been updated as of today to be out until the at least October 27. Now, that's not putting a timeline on it, but he's at least going to be missing the first couple of games. So, yeah, you pull Jonathan Kuminga into your team. He's been playing excellent minutes. He's been filling that role admirably. And if you've got one of those stream spots in your league, Jonathan Kuminga is probably one of the hotter ads for it tomorrow. Available in 40% of leagues is KCP in Denver, the starting shooting guard. Look, it's against his old team. Now, if you're one of these guys who puts in like revenge games or head-to-head, look, I don't think there's any bad blood between KCP and the Lakers. I know in the offseason there was a couple of media interviews and Anthony Davis was like, look, we're gonna show out against Denver. Brian and I have been talking. But, I can't hold anything against KCP because that's my boy. We won a ring together. But, well, KCP fired up in the playoffs against them last year, and I would expect a similar return for him tomorrow. So if he is sitting on your waiver wire and you want to stream him in, he is an absolutely good shout for it. Again, Taurean Prince. Now, Taurean Prince is the starter in Los Angeles. We all know that in this iteration of Los Angeles basketball, they do move the ball a lot. It's a very team-friendly game in Los Angeles. Yeah, their main guys obviously going to go out and get theirs. And you didn't draft Taurean Prince on draft day. But if you're looking for a streamer and he's the starter, well, you got to give him a look. And then you got to look at guys like, again, KCP, another starter, rostered in 59% of leagues. Okay, you might not get him in your league, but Taurean Prince, 6% of leagues. Yeah, you might get him. Yeah, you probably got a 94% chance in a Yahoo League of getting him. Rui Hachimura, he's rostered in 27% of leagues. So there you go. You've got a 73% chance of picking up Rui for a one-day stream in your league. Remember, you might have unlimited spots. You might have unlimited waiver spots, but if you've got 5 and you want to start the week off strong, because remember, there is a lower amount of games this week. There's not that many back-to-backs. I covered it in the show with Matty on the crossover the other night. I should bring him back up here and just go over that schedule again for you if it really helps. But let me tell you now, there's not that many back-to-backs. So you really are looking at trying to maximize your games played. And look, they're all value games. Like there's not that much around there that you can do. And so you want to bring in these guys who are going to give you that short-term return, especially if you've got those positions on a low-volume games this week. And that's what you really want to lean into. So starting your week off with a KCP or a Rui is an absolutely good shout to start it on off there. Another one that's interesting enough is Kevin Looney. Now, he is rostered in 63% of leagues, which is kind of surprising to see Looney up there. I know he's a bit of a stream target, so this is obviously in a lot of the leagues where they have pretty much just needed a sender late in their draft, and they've jumped onto old mate there for the day as well. Phoenix Suns, now it's interesting. He can break at any point in time, and I am talking about one Jusuf Nurkic. Now, Jusuf Nurkic, I think his replacement there is, without a shadow of a doubt, Drew Eubanks. He's been dependable in the preseason. He is going to be one of the go-to centers if like in the NBA this season for streaming in, because Nurkic gets injured every other game. The man is made of absolute bloody paper, and he crumples like it and gets thrown in the bin. If that happens again, that's a guy you want to target. But one of the main targets that's going right around right now in the NBA, well, there's two because of injuries to centers, and I am talking about one, Kiwi legend Steven Adams. Now, Steven Adams, as we know, has had that injury, and now he is out for the rest of the season, and everyone is absolutely clamoring to get Xavier Tillman. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies have also got Santi Aldama on the books, and they've exercised his fourth-year team option as well. So this was expected, obviously, because of the thinness now in that front court. Therefore, the Memphis Grizzlies. So they're renewing Santi Aldama, and they want to put that in there. Tillman, I think, is the guy too. And Santi season, a little bit, a sprinkle of Santi. Well, obviously, Tillman's going to be the one who goes out, but we've got to have to play and see this out. Now, they don't play until the next day. So they're not playing until Wednesday, like in America, Thursday here in Australia. So you want to keep an eye on that situation from the jump. You want to watch when the starters are announced. You want to watch how it plays out in the game. You want to watch how the team chemistry evolves and who's going to be the best fit there beside Jaren Jackson Jr., obviously is their tentpole center. But that's probably one of the main ads right there around to watch on your pickups for the week. Other dependable guys who's only rostered in like 4% of the leagues for tomorrow's games is Josh Okogie. Now, Josh Okogie is currently only rostered in 4%. But look, if there's any injury news, now this is the interesting thing. Bradley Beal and Devin Booker have both been made game time decisions. Now, I don't know what's going on there. I do know that old mate Beal was suffering from back pain the other day, and so he sat on the preseason game that he was apparently going to play against the Lakers. The severity of that is just probably all a bit of a ruse. Who knows? And Devin Booker stubbed his toe. So look, it's a toe problem. They can be lingering for a game or two, but look, it is the season opener tomorrow, and I don't expect them to miss that game. But obviously, if they do, someone like even a Grayson Allen gets a bump to stream into a guy. You want to be watching that one. I guess the two big sleepers for tomorrow, the guys who are people on their radar, is Christian Braun over in the Denver Nuggets. He's going to be getting additional minutes this year, as well as Julian Strother. Now, these two guys are going to be stepping up for Denver during the course of the year. That they did, for all intents and purposes, Denver's depth, and we talked about this in the preseason in the Nuggets preview, it did suffer a bit of a hit. And we want to compare them from last year to this year. Well, we really can't because of the amount of games that Jamal Murray missed. But we want to pick up where they left off towards their playoff run. They weren't even trying to play that great down the playoffs. Nikola Jokic was not interested in being the MVP. They kind of just not tanked, but they didn't give a rat's ass whether they won or lost. Like they were kind of really happy coasting along to a point. Like they were just happy to be out there, play it. But, you know, Jokic wasn't going to try and chase that MVP title in a row. He kind of just handed it to Joel in a way. Like, you know, it was kind of one of those deals. But a healthy Jamal Murray is, and Nikola Jokic has been widely spoken about in the offseason as one of the best one of the best duos in the NBA. But who are the complementary pieces? Look, they really haven't changed that much. We've got a probable Michael Porter Jr. every other day. Aaron Gordon became the most dependable, big, like, dependable small forward, power forward in the league for the Nuggets. Like he saw, you know, what people were trying to see for him back in Orlando. Reggie Jackson's going to play more. KCP obviously is who I mentioned earlier. You make sure you pick him up. But guys coming off their bench, including Reggie Jackson, we know what Reggie can do. They re-signed him, obviously, with the departure of Bruce Brown. They've got someone part of that team still there. But it's Christian Braun and Julian Strother, who they've showed, Michael Malone, who showed a lot of faith in him in the preseason. I am really curious to see the role that those two guys carve out for themselves tomorrow. Now, if you want to fly upshot, this game could go one of two ways tomorrow. If we're looking at the first games of the NBA season and what's going to happen here, I am probably telling you right now that it could be either a blowout and we could all just be like, oh, Jesus, Denver is going to be unstoppable again this year. It could be close, like one of the playoff games last year. And we all forget, a bit of revisionist history, the Denver and Lakers series was incredibly close. They were very competitive games. Are we going to see a competitive game? I hope so. That's going to be good for competition. But conversely, let's look at the Los Angeles Lakers. They've got all these new signings. Gabe Vincent could go out there and get a run. They've re-upped Christian. What's Christian Wood's role going to be? Are they going to just throw big bodies at Nikola Jokic? If that's the plan, like they did with Dwight Howard in the playoffs back in the bubble, just throw Christian Wood out there. Just get him and Jackson out there. I mean, look, Jokic is going to baby them. Like it's Nikola Jokic. It's the number one pick for a reason. And Christian Wood is the man that everyone loves to hate for a reason. So if we're talking pickups, Wood's gone in your league. Like we know that he's probably been rostered. Everyone's taken a flyer on him coming good there. You're not going to just go out there and be able to get Christian Wood. So you've got to look at the other guys and who they're going to be picking up. That's the most important thing right now. And guys, as I said, who are flying off there, you could be a Gabe Vincent off the bench playing a really serviceable role in Los Angeles this season, especially if D'Angelo Russell shits the bed. Or he gets traded and the point guard doesn't come back. That's a guy you absolutely want to look at early on. Other names and pickups that are going around the NBA right now who are rostered, Derek Lively Jr. is getting some late-minute ads. Xavier Tillman, Santi Aldama. Sohan, he is rostered in only 49% of leagues in the San Antonio Spurs. Jeremy Sohan is only rostered in 49% of leagues. He is the starting point guard on the San Antonio Spurs. Point forward Sohan is in full effect. You've got to run out there and get, and I've got on pretty good authority that his position eligibility is going to be getting updated very, very soon. He's only listed on some now as a power forward. If he starts a couple of games at point guard, they are going to escalate that so quickly, and his eligibility, he could be available to be eligible for playing point guard in that guard spot. That's a really nice little weapon to pick up in there. Other guys, similar with Taylor Horton-Tucker, obviously a shooting guard, playing pointing guard there now, is getting a lot of pickups. Also, Kobe White is getting a lot of love and attention early after showing out in the preseason. These are the hottest pickups right now in the NBA. Brandon Miller's getting some love. Denny Advia, obviously, with the renewal. And also Naz Reid, who's only rostered in 29% of leagues after having a very successful preseason off the bench. He is one of those guys who's getting a little bit more of a love right now. The hottest ads leading into the first day, as we touched on earlier, these are including, as we said, Xavier Tillman, Santi Aldama, Jeremy Sohan, Kevin Looney, and people are also starting to pick up Miles Bridges. Now, this is an interesting one. He is out for 10 games. We have heard absolutely nothing more since the news dropped last week that they were trying to serve. And we have no idea in the last 10 days what's going on. So maybe he misses this week. And then maybe he misses the games next week. And he's back in 10 games time in 3 or 4 weeks. And this is a top 100 player. And he's sitting there on your waiver wire. And again, in Yahoo, he's sitting there on 40% of wires. Now, if you don't have an IL Plus spot, you cannot put him there because he is suspended. Same deal with ESPN. You can't just stash these guys down there. But if you're successful and you're thinking that you're in a really good position, and if you're not holding someone like a Ja Morant on your team, that's a guy you want to probably target. Ship bloke? Yeah, absolutely. You got to put that to side at a point. That's the pretty big outlook tomorrow. If I'm picking winners for tomorrow, I'm just going to go with the Lakers. I'm going to go with the Lakers tomorrow, and I'm going with the Suns for a parlay. I'm looking out there, and they're going to show out, especially if the Suns are at full health. I do question their depth. But I do think that they're going to want to absolutely show out right now. And I think it's going to be an interesting season for the Warriors, especially because I'm going to finish with a little bit of a bookend on the signings deal. Talks with Klay Thompson have currently become dead in Golden State. Now, I don't know what kind of Klay we're going to get this year. I think he might be a bit pissed off that the organization hasn't shown him that love back after all of the love and efforts that he's put into getting back to being one of the two Splash brothers down there. Look, we haven't got the Klay of old. Like that's needless to say. He is not that guy anymore, but he's still a guy who is a very good basketball player and who's going to be pissed off. And we know Klay. He's a chip on his shoulder kind of guy. Like, he's a chip on the shoulder kind of dude. So is he going to go out and play for that contract money to make sure that they put something in his hand? Because that's not going to be happening at this point in time in Golden State. And I'm sure it's going to be divisive for the fans what's going to happen. They've just had a disrupted season last year. You know, Draymond Green punching Jordan Poole in the face. You know, wasn't happy with Steve Kerr, was saying there was all these things going on through the course of the season. This is the little bump that starts it. Draymond's out to start the season. Is this the team that we're going to see? Because if we have a fully healthy Kevin Durant playing Golden State tomorrow, he wants to show that he can lead a team to an NBA championship. So I'm putting my money on the Suns and the Lakers, and I'm pretty much sure that this is done for the Pickup episode 1. A big thank you to all of our sponsors, including the Standard Squeeze. Make sure you use promo code INSIGHT15 to get 15% off your order. They have a whole bunch of wonderful devices for camping, for travel mugs, for apparel. Get on them. Also, make sure you check out Ryan at Astute Newstead. You can check his details down below if you've ever wondered here in Australia if you can get your dream home. Well, wonder no more. Ryan specializes in home loans and personal banking and personal loans. Check him out for those as well. But get his details below. You can email him as well at ryanh@eganwealth.com. Tell him Insight has sent you and find out if you can make your dream home come a reality a little bit sooner rather than later. Hey, look, final piece of advice, set your lineups, have fun, and have an absolute cracking NBA fantasy season. I'll catch you soon. Cheerio.